I, I want to take. I would love to take credit for that. I would love to. I think that's just the graces of God. That's just blessed that He blessed me with. I know there's a lot of guys that have worked extremely hard and they couldn't crack the lineup. Not necessarily because they're not good. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
that's just the roll of the dice. And I think I've been fortunate that God has just been blessing me that to stay the course, And I think the more He gives me, the more it's just like the more you want to put out the effort, And I think that's just it. Like I would love to say like be consistent and have crazy work ethic and all that, but that'd be I'd be lying. I think it's just Him just blessing me with that. Obviously, there's little bits of pieces that I've done. I've always believed that it's always you're never ever the same player from one year to the next, right? I mean, you could never say, "Oh, I was good last year," and I sit on my past laurels. I think with that attitude, I think you're going to continue to find certain ways to reinvent yourself, and the
Mm-hmm.
more you tinker and tweak throughout the years, one day you're going to look up and you're going to be like, wow, it's been 17 years already. It's been 16 years already. So I think the reinventing part and never being complacent and me knowing that it's not my doing, none of this is my doing, me knowing that God has given me all this makes me, um, doesn't make me feel like, oh, I'm good, you know? So like, I think that attitude of never thinking you're good, always trying to like find ways and try to be good and try to reach that goal. I think that's a good trait in itself. I mean, because once you think, my dad told me before, it's like the moment you stop learning is when you think you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Or- So once you put that in your head that, oh, I'm good, you know, there's another guy behind you that's putting in the work, and
Yeah.
he's not just putting in the work on the
Mm-hmm.
court. He's probably going to church every day. He's probably praying
Mm-hmm.
for it. He's probably
Mm-hmm.
like, doing everything in his power and talking to God like, oh, and God seeing him. So never think you're good and just try to reinvent yourself every year. Every conference, try to do it every conference.
Yeah. How did you develop that mindset of constantly working to get better? I mean, not everyone has that mindset. Like, if you don't last in the PBA, if you think you're good, you're eventually gonna, no one's gonna sign you anymore if you think you're super good already. You don't want to improve.
Yeah.
So, what point of your life did you have that? Like, even with your other ventures, like with your coaching and UP, with your Philam Nation Select, even now you have like you're part owner of a team in MBPL. You just have this constant mindset of continuing to innovate and try things out and improve on every facet of your life. So how did that start and how did you continue improving?
Well, I would actually look at my like, um, actually, it's a funny story. I'll tell you a story. It's like,
Sure.
one time I came back home, I think it was 2000 and whatever, and I was sulking. I was sulking. I
Mm-hmm.
was moping around. I didn't have a great year.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother was like, "Hey, let's get some shots up." My brother always works with me, and thank you to my brother Dino is amazing. I mean, he'll
Mm-hmm.
stay out there and rebound for me all day. Talk
Mm-hmm.
smack to me, rebound to me, bump me, play me, hack me, do everything. I've
Mm-hmm.
always and he was like, "Hey, let's get some shots up. We'll do what we do, get better for next year. We can't just lay around." I was moping around, I was doing this, and then he goes like, "Yo, I got 9 to 5. Do you
Mm-hmm.
want my 9 to 5, or do you want to do what you do?" And we were around people when he said that had a 9 to 5 job, and they would wake up at 4, drive to
Mm-hmm.
Irvine
Yeah.
because it's an hour away, and they work 8 hours and drive another hour, and it dawned upon me that I was like, yo, man, this is something that is blessed upon you, and it's a great thing. And don't like don't think that it's going to be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
you know it's not going to be here forever, and that's what he said. It's,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to play basketball forever. This was like what, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. He's something like that,
Yeah.
like something like that. And him and my cousins just, just told me like, hey, this, do you want to do what we do? Because it ain't shooting hoops. It ain't, playing basketball in front of 20,000 people. It ain't that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and from that day on, I just was like, yo, I'm gonna put everything and all my effort into it. And, he reminds me to this day, he was like, yo, it's, we got a job waiting for you if you want. If you don't want to, if you don't want to shoot jumpers, we got a
Yeah.
job waiting. And I said, no, I shoot jumpers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, I shoot jumpers, yo. I shoot jumpers. And then I put that in my mentality to anything I do is just like, yo, like with the Lab Nation Select, with real estate, and with and all those other stuff that you mentioned. I just would be like, this is what I love to do. This is what I'm blessed with. God put this in my plate right now, and I think I could motivate and do the best I could do with this right now, and hopefully I could motivate some kid or motivate somebody in the right direction. And with that in my heart, I think it's been good.